This is for Rachel, you big, fat, white, nasty, smelling, fat bitch. Why you took me off the motherfucking schedule with your trifling, dirty, white, racist ass, big, fat bitch, oompa loompa body ass bitch. I'm coming up there and I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you, bitch. And don't.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda. If this is your first time here, welcome to my beauty entertainment channel. Today we have another installment of my Everything Wrong with Blank series. So if you don't know what that is, I basically look at TV shows. As of right now, it's just TV shows, and I basically just figure out everything wrong with them. So I did Victorious, I did iCarly, and today, ooh, let's get into this gig, because today we have one of the most influential shows of this decade, and I don't think you can debate that. I sure am talking about Glee. Wow. Okay, so for these videos, I always like go into a cave of just that TV show for the past so I've been watching Glee for the past week straight. Like, that's the only form of media content I've been taking in, has been Glee. So, you know, I'm a little fragile up here. Things have been happening very, very fast, but I have a lot of information to share and it's well researched. So that's that on period. Let's begin. So what is good about Glee?
We're gonna call it Red Hummel's Bulging Pink Bonsai.
Okay, so I think one place where I can start is what Glee did for people, because okay, so this is basically a theater kid's dream. So the show, I know it didn't invent the Glee Club, but it kind of did. At least if you don't agree with me there, you have to agree that it at least popularized the Glee Club, because I had never heard of that before. Had you heard? I had never heard of that before. And I think it made, because it's on a TV show and everything on TV shows are cool, so it made a Glee Club cool. My school didn't have one. I would have killed to have a Glee Club, but no. And secondly, it was kind of like an outcast dream, kind of, because I mean, the members of the Glee Club were losers. And then they came out on top, kind of sometimes, and it was a story of an underdog, even though they were unreasonably attractive for losers. But I don't need to talk about that. It's a TV show. Understand it's not reality. But they were underdogs and they had this feeling of belonging, so it made people feel stuff. It made outcasts and outsiders feel something. People got tattoos. People got Glee tattoos. I mean, not this, but people got Glee tattoos, so it must have meant something. And I think this was, besides Degrassi, this is one of, I don't want to say first, but one of the biggest shows to tackle almost every single issue, although not all of them were done very well, and I will get into that later, but they at least tried. So A for effort, I guess. And it was incredibly influential in a different realm, because influential usually means it would engage copycats, but no one has really tried to copycat Glee, because you can't outdo it. Mr. Ryan Murphy outdid himself there. Who's trying to remake Glee? I mean, like, I'm watching High School Musical, the series, and they have Glee elements, but no one's touching this show. I mean, you can't. Why would you try? And it was one of the best jobs on television of incorporating music and musical elements into television shows, because at least for me, I hadn't seen much of that before, incorporating a lot of music onto TV. And it didn't do original music a lot. It did sometimes, and that would kind of turn people away by them doing covers. They really got more than just like theater kids interested. And they did like tropes that you wouldn't think of on this show, kind of. I mean, they had like the geeky girl gets the quarterback, which would have never happened in real life, but like they changed it up. They like had the head cheerleader, she fell and, you know, had her life ruined. Like they challenged some of the typical high school stereotypes, kind of. And finally, there is no finally. Secondly, so I think this is something that's undeniably, this show had the most amount of sheer natural raw talent on one television show. I want you to think about all of the characters on the show. Where'd they find them? Where did you find? I know they found some of them. Leah Michelle was on Broadway because she was born to perform. I know Brittany was like Beyonce's backup dancer, but the rest, where did you find them? How did you find them? First of all, I know the Glee Project, which is a reality show, it helped with finding the cast members for the later seasons, but let's just start with the original members of the Glee Club. It was Artie, Tina, Rachel, Mercedes, and Finn. Where'd you find them? Where'd you find the talent? Because I'm sorry to Ohio, but would that much talent be in Nyma, Ohio? Would that much talent be in one high school? Was that much talent in your high school? No. All right, so now I'm gonna do like a season by season recap, very quick, cause long video, very long video. So I'm gonna get it done out of the way. So season 1, Quinn is pregnant. That's all you need to know. Season 2, we get the first Brittany episode. We meet Sam Evans. We meet Blaine Anderson. Gwyneth Paltrow guest stars. Finn and Rachel break up. The Thriller episode happens here. Blame It on the Alcohol, that episode happens here. They go to nationals and come in 12th because that performance was a 12th performance. In season 3, Quinn goes off her rocker, and then the Treble Tones are formed. Blaine transfers to McKinley. There's the Michael episode, Karofsky, that whole thing, that really sad scene. Woo, cough syrup. Whew. That happens. There's the NYADA auditions and Rachel chokes, and then they win nationals and the seniors graduate. Season 4, Rachel's getting her ass handed to her by Kate Hudson. We meet new Glee kids, Brittany 2.0. Every single couple on the show breaks up in a matter of 45 minutes. It's crazy. We get a Glee episode. Finn is teaching the Glee Club because he's a loser. Sorry. They demolish Tina's character for no reason. And then Unique catfishes Ryder, because that was completely necessary to the plot. Then season 5, Rachel gets the funny girl lead, and then Santana is the understudy, and then a bunch of nonsense happens, and then the rest of the seniors graduate. And to me, that's the end of Glee. I don't recall there being a 6th season ever made. I don't recall there being a second half of season 5. I don't recall. That's the end of Glee to me. So now I'm gonna move on to the characters.
I suggest selling yourself on Craigslist under the heading of men seeking men with butt chins.
So disclaimer, because you have to disclaim everything on YouTube, I am talking about the characters, not the actors, okay? Because we all know what some of these actors have done. I'm not talking about them, I'm talking about the characters. So I'm gonna start with some of the new Glee kids. So Marley, an angel, sweet as pie. First of all, her voice, like, I need you guys to really, if you haven't listened to a Glee cover in a long time, I need you to go back and listen, because these people, it's too much talent. Like, they're too talented for mainstream music. She had a really incredible voice. I hated the Ryder versus Jake plot line. Over her, really. And then we'll get into them next. Ryder and Jake, we don't really know too much about them because their characters have no substance. Anyway, they physically fought over Marley. Love her, but like, come on. Anyway, Jake has the most angelic voice I've ever heard in my entire life. Ryder's voice isn't half bad, but there's no comparison. And then I noticed watching the show, all of Ryder's potential plot lines that could have made him a more interesting character were taken away, ripped away, and given to Jake. Like the whole Marley, Jake just took his girl. I don't believe in that. Like the Marley plot line, which could have been his, was given to Jake. The Kitty plot line, which could have been his, was given to Jake. Just everything, and then Ryder got nothing. He got catfished. For why? I can't stress this enough. For why? Anyway, and then we got that mixed tears nonsense. Please, cry me a river. I can't. Good night. Next character is Unique. Unique makes everyone on this show sound like average singers. And you know what that is? Pure, undeniable, frothy talent. Vocal powerhouse. the only Glee Project winner that wasn't paid dust in this show, because most of the Glee Project winners that got and won and got on this show were just given scraps, were given crumbs and cookie crumbles to eat. They weren't given, there was nothing there in their characters, and it's so disappointing because have you heard their voices? It's sick. Anyway, now we go to Joe and Rory, old white boy with dreads who gives me some severe internal conflict, and the leprechaun. We don't know anything about them. We don't know anything about them because why? So why are they on there if I don't know anything about them? First of all, have you ever really listened to those two sing? They were out singing every male character on that show. Have you really? They don't give those two solos very often, but if you go listen to Stereo Hearts, Joe sings the chorus, I'm pretty sure. Ooh, that man's voice, no, there's no, singing circles around the rest of them, and paid dust. Like, he was like Quinn's boy toy for like 3 episodes, and then nothing became of it. Imagine how tired we are. You can't give him anything, and then Rory was there to be funny and get shoved into lockers. You already know what I'm gonna say. Imagine. Okay. Next, we're moving on to the demon child, Miss Kitty, whatever her last name is. First of all, who names a child Kitty? Because I looked it up, that's her actual name. Who names a child that? Let's start there. Let's find the parents and figure out who the hell raised that girl. First of all, let's discuss how she single-handedly, by herself, caused Marley to develop an eating disorder from herself. The girl went, she needs a hobby. Every single night, she snuck backstage of her high school, and took in Marley's grease costume with a thread and needle. Could you imagine? Like, I don't think, like, that is evil. That is evil. I don't know why the Glee Club never learns. They always let in these insecure, crazy, deluded, mean girls who all conveniently come around and end up being nice to them, but revert back to their crazy, deluded ways. Why have you guys never learned? Quinn, what happened with her? Yeah, she warmed up eventually, but it took her literally 4 tries. Santana still don't like none of y'all. When will you learn? Stop letting in people who don't like you. Stop letting in people who make fun of you. But they were necessary to drive the plot, so I understand. But because Quinn is a different story, Santana is a different story. Kitty, there's something wrong. First of all, I should have known. You name a child Kitty. We should have all known. I did know, because, you know, I looked at her face and I knew. I said, okay, we have a new one. And then we have Miss Sugar Mata. She didn't talk like at all, but like, I think she's so funny. Like, whenever Sugar spoke, which was like 3 times in 3 seasons, the girl had lines. She had one-liners that hit like grits. And Sugar Mata, is it Sugar Mata? I think that's her name. She is Rachel Berry's foil. She is. If you don't know what a foil is, think back to freshman year in high school English class, maybe 8th grade, depending on how good your school was. A foil, I think, if I remember correctly, I think it's like the opposite end of the spectrum of the other character. It's like who they would be in a different dimension. And if Rachel Berry wasn't talented, she would be Sugar. That's that on period. If Sugar was talented, she's not. If she was, she'd be Rachel Berry. They are the same person. They are the same person, and there is no denying that. Next, I have to get into the gig. Miss Tina Cohen Chang and Mike Chang, ignoring the blatant, obvious, dehumanizing racist undertones of those two characters and their relationship. These are some of the most underappreciated and underutilized characters on Glee. Especially, Tina's gets on my last nerve, but I'm talking about Mike Chang. The New Directions cannot dance. They cannot dance. And you have this man who gets into Juilliard swaying in the background doing oohs and ahs. No wonder you lost. No wonder you came in 12th place. I'm pretty sure in that same season, Mr. Schuster had one great idea, and was like, let's feature Brittany and Mike dance moves, and they won regionals. Why do you think you won regionals? You feature the people who can dance. That's why the people that beat the New Directions could all dance. The New Directions move like they're learning to walk, like deer fresh out of the cooch. That's what they move like. Now, the unholy trinity, period. This is how you create characters. Character development, character complexity, and we have it here. Quinn is that girl. Kitty is such a forced version of Quinn. It makes me physically ill. Quinn, you know, Kitty, she loses breath as she gives her insult. She's like running out of breath. Quinn rolls off the tongue, and they hit and they make you think. They stick with you. Like 4 episodes later, you're something about how Quinn dragged Rachel through the mud. Actually should have, because Rachel's the worst character on the show anyway. And what the thing about Quinn is she's so soft-spoken, but when she's ready to do it, she does it. And she does it every single time. However, all the bad things that happened to Quinn were karma. The girl's a bitch. Like, the girl is, she's not evil. Kitty's evil. Quinn is not evil, but she had all those things coming. Please. Then we go to Miss Second in Command, because Santana is second in command. She thinks she's the head. She's not. Quinn is the head bitch. So, I understand that Santana is rude and mean or whatever. I get that. However, one of my favorite characters, because listen, bullying builds character. Do I think Santana went beyond the point of bullying sometimes? Of course I do. She's not a very nice person, but she was needed because her constant destruction of the Glee Club is what kept them going. They all had something to prove. I was on season 5. And I was watching, and Santana and Rachel were having this argument, and Santana was like, I am the reason that you're here. Me constantly destroying you in high school, the reason that you've made it this far, and is the reason that you got the role of Fanny Price. And I said, she's right. Because Rachel is trying to prove her wrong, whether she had once admitted to herself or not. Santana is the reason Rachel's so successful. Now, I'm not denying that she's not rude. I'm really not. But you have to admit, Santana is one of the most gifted readers in television history. When this girl wants to insult you, she is going to get your deepest rooted insecurity and bring it out to the limelight. Because this is why I say Glee is influential. So Santana came on the screen, and before that, in the shows that I had seen, the Mean Girls always have the same old insults. They'll call you ugly. They'll be like, oh, you look like a toad. Like basic insults. Santana came and said, let me introduce you guys to a little thing called creativity. She introduced us to the creative read. Wow. There's a scene that went like kind of viral on Twitter, like I think a couple of months ago, when she is, she's back at their high school for some reason, and she like called, I don't even remember what she said, but she called Finn some version of a Pillsbury Doughboy with like fat spilling out of him, and I said, good God, a regular Mean Girl would have just called him fat, even though he's not. But she took it a step further. Every time she insulted Rachel, it was new. You know how she has the most, she should write books. You know what Santana should write movies. She should become a playwright, because if you can come up with those ideas on the spot, You have a gift. You have a gift with words. Now we're on to my favorite. Okay, so we're at Britney S. Pierce. A living legend. A living legend on television. She could have been the Glee Club secret weapon, because guess what? Britney can sing. She wasn't even brought on this show to sing. She wasn't even brought on the Glee Club to sing. She was brought there to dance. And she can sing. And you know, they needed, so in order for them to do, I'm glad that she was there, because I needed to use her for like the Britney songs and the Kesha songs, for the sole fact that she is not the best singer. Because when you had, like in the first Britney episode, Rachel sang a Britney song and it was terrible because the girl does not have that factor. Rachel does not have that factor. She has an incredible voice, but there are some things that, like, even having an incredible voice will not get you. Britney has it. She has the captivates you right there, takes you and says, you're gonna focus on me too. Go, if you haven't seen what she did, TikTok, if you haven't seen that, or if you haven't seen Me Against the Music, you need to go to, you're on YouTube right now, go to the search bar, type in Me Against the Music, Glee Cast Edition. Watch your mind be blown. Blown. Cause that is how you do it. Ooh, this girl, paid dust, and for why? Moving on, because I'm running out of time. Puck, the actor, I don't need to talk about him. Character wasn't half bad. I actually kind of liked Puck's character. He was, the thing that I like about people who were like asses, because Puck is rude, he wasn't that way for no reason. He had like a backstory that made sense, and when he was being an asshole, it drove the plot forward. It led to his own character development and the character development of other characters on the show, and I really was the biggest fan of that. Puck is a below average singer compared to the rest of Glee Club. Like, he can sing, but compared to like Artie, who I'll get into later, and Blaine and Kurt and even Finn, below average singer. Becky, the glue of Glee. That woman's comedic timing is something you can't buy, something you can't learn, something that cannot be acquired. The one-liners. You know how good of an actor you have to be if you're like only given one-liners to make your character like a staple for that long? She's only ever usually given one-liners. And she kept, ooh, like grits. I don't even like grits, but the hits sticks against the wall. That Becky Jackson, ooh, a living legend. That's for sure. That is for sure. Next, we have Miss Sue Sylvester. Yes, she's rude per se, but if you can't tell by now, I love a good mean girl. I love a good mean girl. As long as you're not being mean for like no reason, I'm fine with it. And Sue even said, she was like, the Glee Club does best when they have a villain to fight against. And yes, she went too far sometimes, but would the show have been as funny without her? There were 4 or 5 episodes without her, and they were bad. They were very bad. I mean, that whole season was bad, but it was in season 5 or the end of season 4. She like, there was a school shooting episode, and like she took the blame for Becky, so she wasn't on the show for like 4 episodes, and those episodes were bad. What you gonna do? Next is Beast and Mrs. Pillsbury. They're okay characters. We don't really know that much about them. Beast is so funny. The random metaphors that Beast does, like, Beast will just say something that doesn't make any sort of sense, but the way Beast delivers it, God, I love a good delivery of a line. It's one thing to memorize your lines and, you know, just say them to the camera, but when you deliver, and Miss Pillsbury can kind of sing. Like, I didn't realize until, this is my 3rd time rewatching the show, like actually like sitting down and rewatching the show, and I was like, you can carry a tune. And I respect her, because in order to deal with the living man-child demon that is Mr. Schuster, you gotta be kind of a good person. But maybe she doesn't love herself, because she deserves better. Anyway, moving on to Blaine and Kurt. Okay, Chris Colfer, I think that's how you pronounce his name, I don't remember. Again, comedic timing that cannot be bought. Especially season 1. I didn't rewatch all of season 1 for this, but season 1 and 2, Kurt, I know he was going through a lot of trauma, but like, that's a good character. And Kurt, oh, Kurt's character development this entire show, he's grown so much. He has overcome so much. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of a fictional character. Oh my God. But Kurt asking Blaine to transfer to William McKinley was the worst mistake of his life, because Blaine outshined him in every living, waking way. In that West Side Story episode when they were auditioning for West Side Story and like Kurt was mad that Blaine was so obviously gonna get Tony, I was like, what did you expect? Were they gonna give it to you? No, they weren't. Also, Darren Criss is one of the most talented people alive. So, moving on. Chris Colfer is too. That man can sing. No one talks about it. Chris Colfer can sing. Woo! He can sing. Moving on to my two favorites. You can probably tell from my tweets. I have been live tweeting the show, and my live tweets are gonna be over now, so you can go ahead and thank whoever you believe in for that, because they're gonna be over now. I won't be bothering you with any more Glee live tweets. But as you can probably tell from my tweets, Sam, White Chocolate Evans, and Mercedes, the best singer on the show, Jones, are my two favorite characters. Sam is the most flushed out and complex male character on this show. I think the writers reserved all of their, complexity and plot for him, because the rest of the male characters got little to nothing. They got really kind of scraps in terms of appropriately written plot / lines for them. But Sam, and the fact, this is off topic, but the fact that Cord Overstreet got every season, he got more attractive. I would like to discuss how that's possible, because usually it's the other way around. You know what? And then Mercedes, next to Tina Cohen Chang, is the most disrespected person on the show, but I have to say that for later. Moving on. Artie Abrams, the heart, the soul, the voice, the rock, the leader of the New Directions. Every time Artie started off a song, I knew it was gonna be a hit. Name one song that Artie started off that wasn't a hit. You can't. There is none. I need us to include Kevin McHale in conversations of best vocalists, because what song should you listen to? Because he did a lot of black artists. Every time they did Michael Jackson, he sang lead and it sounded good. Listen to, I'll get into this more later, my favorite performances. Listen to his Pretty Young Thing. Wow, isn't she lovely? Wow. Blame It on the Alcohol. That man is a gift. Moving on. Rachel and Finn. Finn is an asshole. Finn has said every single offensive slur in the book, and we're supposed to forgive him because he's tall. I'm sorry. The character, he's rude. He gets better. I think he's like a sweetheart in the core, but not my favorite. Rachel is a nightmare. Could you imagine a Rachel Berry actually existing? The reason they put her on this show, I know, besides that, in every show choir or theater cast or anything that has to do with the arts, there is always a Rachel. There is always a Rachel. And if you don't think there's always a Rachel, you probably were the Rachel. So she was completely necessary, but Rachel was a living, walking, breathing, mouth-breathing nightmare. She goes through okay periods, but then does something so undeniably Rachel that it makes me hate her again. I really wanted to film this video on like a high note with Rachel, but guess what she did? Guess what she did? She ruined herself again. And you know what made me? I was in the middle of season 5. She gets in this fight with Santana because Santana auditions to be her understudy, her understudy in Funny Girl. And Rachel, of course, loses her mind. She like throws a big victim party, pity party in the apartment, starts crying because what else is new? And then she leaves and moves into Adam Lambert's house. Okay. And this is the part that I said, I can't do this anymore. She convinces this man to sleep on the couch so she can sleep in his bed because she needs to recover. I kid you not, I was watching on my iPad, I threw it. I threw my iPad. I'm a very dramatic person. I love throwing things. I threw my iPad. Are you kidding? You know what? I really wanted to film this video liking her so I wouldn't be, because I'm heavily biased against her. I don't like her character. I really wanted to make it a point to film this at a point where I liked her and then she'd go and ruin it for herself. And that leads me into my next part. What's bad about Glee?
Sell your scalp on the black market as a tiny full-length shearling toad for only the most fashionable premature baby.
Where do I begin? Where do I begin? Let's start with the unnecessary and ridiculous plot lines that the show had that were completely unnecessary. These are mostly from the 4th season because that is when the decline of Glee started. There is literally no debating that. 4th season is one of my favorite seasons, but all the events that happened in the 4th season led to the disaster that was the 5th and the unspoken season. 1. Finn versus Mr. Schue. He kissed your fiance. Okay, that's bad. But are you seriously threatened by a 19-year-old child who was so depressed he came back to his godforsaken high school to teach a Glee club when his fiance is out in not at that point, is out in New York living her best life at the best performing arts school in the country. His ex-girlfriend who cheated on him with his best friend is at Yale. His best friend is out in Los Angeles with a pool cleaning business. He thinks it's going great. It's not. You're threatened of that man. That child? Are you kidding me? You think Miss Pillsbury's gonna leave you for him? She would just leave you, period, William. She would just leave you, period. 2, unique catfishing writer. I cannot stress this enough. I want who could you imagine the intern that walked up and said, I have an idea. Let's have unique catfish writer. Could you imagine somebody fixing their mouth to come up to you with that tone deaf idea and you greenlight it? Still to this day, I don't understand how no one thought that was a bad idea. No one was like, yeah, maybe this isn't for the best. Maybe this isn't, appropriate at all. Nobody? Okay. 3, Quinn calling CPS on Idina Menzel. Quinn is a bitch. She is. I'm not denying that. But she's not evil. That whole plotline with Quinn and the pink hair and she smokes cigarettes now. I hated that whole plot line. But then when she started to plant evidence to get her baby back, Quinn, I can't. And then 4th, the destruction of Tina Cohen Chang's character. Tina fell in love with Blaine. Are you kidding me? There was not a single other man in that school she could have fallen in love with. Sam was right there. That's 1. 2, she became a bitter hag once Mike Chang left. Is her worth and value determined by a man? Is that what you're saying? And the part, because when this happened, when Glee happened and they brought Santana back to play Rizzo and Tina comes running into the choir room and she's like, oh, I memorized all the parts. I might have to go on stage in Act 2 with the book, but I can do it. And Santana's standing there and she has this, what's her name? I forget the actress who plays Tina. Her face in that scene is one for the history books. The look of disgust, anger, angst, anguish, destruction. That is how you act It's Jenna something. So talented. Wow. Could you imagine them bringing in a high school graduate to play a role? Y'all got me messed up. Moving off of that, the racism on this show, because what all shows are racist. Tina Cohen Chang. There are so many Glee Club members with no talent. With no talent. They let Suga into the establishment. And they all got more spotlight and stage time than Tina. She got one song in 4 seasons. One, I need you to understand me here, not a solo. I'm talking about a song where she sang lead. She got 1. Tina can't sing that well. She can't. She can sing, like she can really sing, but like people are like, well, I mean, like when Rachel was there, were they gonna give it to Tina? No, but you couldn't give her 1. Gave Puck too many songs. Who else they give way too many songs? The rest of them are talented. Whatever. She sang a great duet with Mike Chang that was underappreciated, Love. So the part that's the 4th season, she finally won something. She won Prom Queen. And that half-wit 12-year-old, thick headband wearing in high school, might I add, had dimwit, had to backstab her. You couldn't let her win. I love how she rose above, but she shouldn't have had to. You should have let her win for once. And then she became an old hag, and then she pushed Artie out of his wheelchair in a jealous rampage. Why did you do her like that? Why did you do her like that? Y'all never even did Rachel like that. The most annoying character on the show. How interesting. Let's move on to Mercedes. Do you have time? Do you have a snack? Because we're gonna get started. Season 3, episode 3 is an entire episode of that pasty, sun-deprived, lizard-looking Glee Club gaslighting her for voicing what everyone had been saying for the past 3 years, that Rachel was the clear Mr. Schue favorite. They all gaslit her when they all have been saying the same thing for years. In said episode, Mr. Schue was getting on Mercedes for dancing, for not dancing, and I understand why. You gotta dance. But I find it quite interesting how he never, ever got on Rachel Berry for dancing or not dancing when she moves like she has lead in her shoes. Have you ever looked at Rachel Berry dance? Why was Rachel Berry never in that booty camp thing that they demanded that Mercedes go to because she couldn't dance? Why wasn't Rachel there? Rachel can't dance either. How interesting. One, because Mercedes was like, I'm just the person that stands and sings and belts out a note and the rest of you dance around me. You let Rachel do that. But Mercedes can't. How interesting. And their one act of redemption was giving her the treble tones, but what happened to that group? Disregarded and disrespected. And they were the better Glee Club of that school. That's completely obvious. When you lose Santana, Brittany, and Mercedes. And then for that sectionals, they even lost Rachel. New Directions lost Rachel. There was no hope. Even Rachel couldn't beat Mercedes and Santana and Brittany in a trio together. No way. No way, no how. Next. Do you have time? Do you have time? Do you have time? We're gonna talk about the mop-headed predator of this show, Mr. William, God knows what his middle name is, Schuster. Grade A predator. What? Sue Sylvester has never been wrong about him. Never once. Why doesn't he have any adult friends? Why at his 1.5 weddings was his best man a 19-year-old freshly, barely graduated from college? Why was that it? Where are your adult friends? Why is his only adult friend his fiance? He doesn't have any other friends at this school. Sue is like his frenemy. That's sad. That's sad. He ruins every single song he's in. And why is he even in any songs with teenagers. Why is he ever performing with the Glee Club? Is it because he's a Broadway wannabe reject? Is that why? Possibly. While I'm on Mr. Link Larkin, if you don't know, Matthew Morrison was the original Link Larkin, let's discuss what songs he chose to perform with Glee. Because it's not just the fact that he performed with the Glee Club, it's the songs that he chose. 1. He was in a boy band duel with Finn. Get a life. Get one, please. I can buy one for you if you would like. Are you kidding me? He kissed your fiance, so you have to challenge him to a boy band duel. Please. And all the minors of the Glee Club fawning over him. All the minors of the Glee Club fawning over him. 2. He performed Toxic. He performed Toxic by Britney Spears with the Glee Club, which incited a sex riot at a high school. That's not even the worst one. Number 3. He chose to perform Blurred Lines, a song about date rape. And when Sue brought it up that it was a song about date rape, Mr. Shu completely ignored it and said, no, it's not. Listen to the first verse. Listen to the first line. Blurred lines? What do you think Robin Thicke's talking about? And that whole episode should be banned from television. I don't remember it being that bad, but I just rewatched it last night and it was worse than I remember. He wants to die on the grounds of twerking. He would rather be fired than have the kids not twerk. I wish I understood. I really do wish I understood what was going on in his head. Good night. Anyway. And then another bad thing about Glee is like, what the hell happened on this show? Like, they beat out the Disney Channel for churning out some of the most messed up people ever. And I don't need to list them because, like, the police reports speak for themselves. What happened on this show? Why won't anyone talk about it? That's really scary. That's really scary. Like, that's, wow. Anyway, that's what the bad things about Glee. Now I'm getting to my favorite part. Let me educate y'all because it's best and worst Glee edition. Period. 1. So the question is, was seasons 1 through 3 New Directions better, or seasons 4 through 5 New Directions better? Very obvious answer. 1 to 3 in terms of girl talent, 4 to 5 for, in my opinion, in terms of male talent. Because once the new people came in, like Ryder, Jake, Joe came in. He came in a little bit earlier. The men were allowed to be mediocre in earlier seasons. They really were. I mean, like, Artie was never mediocre. Bless his heart. Never mediocre. Sam wasn't mediocre either, but I mean, he looks like that. So, like, there wasn't really a chance for him to be mediocre. But the Glee project was like, let's get some talented male singers in here, please. We've been deprived for too long. 2nd, so the debate of the best singer, I'm talking about, like, the good section of Glee, so seasons 1 through 3. The debate of best singer always falls down to Rachel, Mercedes, and Santana. And I'm gonna break it down for you because this is the answer. So the best singer is Mercedes Jones. Rachel even, listen, Rachel even knew this herself, that Mercedes is at a different level when it comes to vocal ability. Listen, Rachel knew when they were having that, like, pathetic little benefit to raise money, and Rachel let her be the last act. She knew, because she wasn't gonna beat what Mercedes just did. She also knew when she ran to sign up to be student body president because she heard Mercedes audition for Maria in West Side Story. And interesting how that was the only role double cast. And when Mercedes walked into that room, one of my favorite scenes ever, and she walked in and she went to Rachel, she said, "Tell me you were better than me." She looked at her, said, "Tell me that you were better than me." And Rachel couldn't, because she wasn't. Oh. 2nd, so Best stage present goes to Miss Rachel Berry. I don't think you can deny that when Rachel demands attention, that's why she's so annoying. She demands attention in real life and on stage. It's good on stage, not in real life. That's why she's so annoying. When she's singing, you have no choice but to look at her and to listen to her, because the woman, she commands it. She's an attention whore. She's commanding the attention. And that's like that. Who? Leah Michelle. You can't learn that. You can't learn. Straight from the cooch. That came out of the womb. Now, the best performer is Santana Lopez. The reason her and Rachel hated each other is because they were each other's biggest competition. Mercedes is on a different level, and Mercedes had a different dream. She wanted to go the LA route and become like a famous singer. Rachel and Santana both went to New York. Santana has what Rachel wishes she had. Listen to me. Santana has sex appeal and Santana can dance. Neither of those two does Rachel have, and that's why Rachel hates her so much. But Santana doesn't like Rachel because Rachel has that it factor that gives her the best stage presence, in my opinion. It makes you listen to her voice, because her voice, y'all, it's too much. Now for the guys, the best singer is Artie. Please don't come in my comments and debate me with that. Listen to any of his solos, any of his songs, it's Artie. And I think Blaine, for me, gets best stage presence, and then best performer is either Blaine, because come on, it's Darren Criss, Blaine or Jake Puckerman, the only new person I put into this, because I'm like, the later seasons were bad, but Jake Puckerman can perform. He doesn't have the best stage presence though. He doesn't captivate you. Blaine Anderson captivates you and tells you to pay attention right then and there. But Artie, that voice. Next one is the best Glee club. For me, it either goes to the Warblers or the Treble Tones. I don't consider Vocal Adrenaline a Glee club. It was unique and guest. And before that, it was Sunshine and Slaves. It's not a Glee club if you have one person singing and everyone else is doing crazy, elaborate dance routines. They are elaborate and crazy, but they're doing ooh, ah, psk, psk, psk. It's not a Glee club, sorry. Best guest star is Kate Hudson. I'm sorry. Based on all that jazz alone, she's the best guest star. Gwyneth Paltrow is a very, very close second, but all that jazz alone, Kate Hudson 8. I might need to place with Athletics order. I have a VIP account, but took money out of my account again, even when I didn't ask them to, because Gwyneth is a very, very close second, but all that jazz takes the cake. And then my third is Demi Lovato, because Demetria, you know, she does some messed up stuff. She says some messed up things. However, the voice is undeniable. Good night. Best weeks, I like Britney 2.0 better than Britney. Not sure why. I think it's because Rachel doesn't sing a Britney song, so it doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. I love Michael week. Glease is my favorite week because, listen, outsold, and I thank God that they waited to do Grease until those seniors had graduated, because imagine if Rachel and Finn were the leads in Grease. Could you I'm sorry, I have to get this out. No. I also love Madonna week, but obviously for the nostalgia, obviously. Now, best performances, let's read. Back to Black, Santana Lopez. River Deep, Mountain High. The fact that we never got more than 2 duets from them is sick, twisted, and pure, unfiltered dog water racism. LOVE, Mike Chang and Tina Cohen Chang. Come up with something else. Me and Some Music, Human Nature, Marry You, Valerie, Season 2 only, Landslide, cry every single time. Bills, Bills, Bills. I love the Warblers cover of that song. I like how they didn't just do a direct cover. They add their own little zest to it. Teenage Dream. I'm sorry, did you hear that? Teenage Dream, the fastest selling Glee single of all time. I think it was 1.39 million. That's Darren Criss. I'm Still Standing. I love that song. Blame It on the Alcohol. Like that whole performance. That's one of my, I think that's like top 3 Glee episodes for me. And Glee's is in there too. Any song with Argon lead vocals, any of them. Lucky, tears. Rumor Has It / Someone Like You. The Trouble Tones, I cannot believe they didn't win sectionals. You know what? I don't need to talk about a fictional TV show like that. Anything from the quarterback episode, wow. What all respect to these actors. Nasty / Rhythm Nation that Jake Puckerman did in season 5, the only song from season 5 that even matters. That, because I was so worried, because I know Nasty by heart. I heard the first 3 beats and I said, oh no. I said, oh no, they're not trying to do Nasty. But they did it. They did it and wow, they did it so well. And then finally, Jake Puckerman's Let Me Love You. Until You Learn to Love Yourself. A masterpiece. If you haven't listened to that song in a while, I would like you to pull up your phone right now, open up Spotify, the superior streaming service, and look up Let Me Love You, Until You Learn to Love Yourself. Glee edition. You'll cry. So best original song, most of them were terrible, but I really liked Marley's All or Nothing. For some reason, it really like resonated with me. Worst performances, the season 2 finale where they came in 12th. There's a reason why they came in 12th. They were literally prancing around the stage. They were like, there's a reason you lost. Ugh. And they were all like, it's because Finn and Rachel kissed. Even if they didn't kiss, there's no way they would have made top 10. Sorry. And anything with Will Schuester. Gangnam Style? Why would you do that? What Does the Fox Say? Why would you do that? Hot for Teacher. Most of Puck's songs, I'm sorry. I can't look at them. I can't look at, you know what. Now, finally, this video is so long. I am so sorry. Thank you for sticking through if you did. The best seasons of Glee. The best season of Glee is season 3. There is not a single debate with that. However, I would like to bring season 4 into the conversation. I know I said season 4 is the start of the decline of Glee. However, I only said that because the events that happened in season 4 led to the destruction of the show. But I like season 4 because I like the new girlies. I love Marley. I love Unique. I love the mess. I loved it. I love seeing Rachel at Nyada. I loved Kate Hudson. Wow. Oh my God. I really like that season. I don't think it's the best. Season 3 is the best and the last perfect season of Glee, but I need to include season 4 on here because just for my new girls. And the reason I'm not speaking of the unspoken season is because of this. You get one group of new people. I only give shows one group of new people. One group of new people is what you get. You can't bring in more. You can't bring in 2. How do you expect your audience to create emotional like connections with your characters if you keep replacing them every 3 seasons? How do you, we just got a connection with the Marley, the Jake, the writers. We just did that. And now you want to bring in more. It's sick and it's twisted and I will not stand for it any longer. And that is my video. That was so long. I am so sorry. So if you watch that whole thing, you deserve a star. I'll give you a star. There's no star. I usually have stars in your hair, but they're not here anymore. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Literally the sun went down. I've been talking for an hour, I'm pretty sure. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to follow me on social media, here's my Twitter and my Instagram. Fun. I don't post on Instagram, so just follow me on Twitter. What else I have to say? that's it. So this is my third installment of my Everything Wrong with X series. Let me know what shows you'd like me to do next, because I finished Glee, so I have nothing to do anymore, and it's still winter break, so I have nothing to do. So let me know, watch Zoo on Netflix, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye!